have you ever watched a movie purely because of the memes or TikTok videos you've seen about it? I'm sure many of you, and I mean many of you, can relate to American Psycho, which resurfaced as like a meme Sigma movie like Drive.
The most important person in my life is my wife, so she's number one.
But today, I'm gonna expose some of you because some of you are fake or don't even get it. Hello Kino Freaks, Notorious Nicholas here, and today I'll be covering one of my personal favorite movies of all time, and also one of the most misunderstood movies of all time from both sides, American Psycho. Based on the book of the same name, which I've read, and let me just say, woof, it's rough. But it's a good book, it's just a rough read sometimes. This movie was directed by Mary Herron, woman director? What? Who had many, and I mean many development issues, such as previous directors back now like David Cronenberg, with Brad Pitt meaning to star. God, how weird would that have been? Also Leonardo DiCaprio, like Titanic Prime Leonardo DiCaprio was meant to star in it, and that would have been weird. But no one else wanted to do it because it was deemed a career killer. But Christian Bale wanted it so badly that he didn't care. He ignored all the advices. People thought Christian Bale was bad on set. And look where we are now. Look where we are now. And there's a plethora more behind the scenes stuff, but I don't want to waste any more time, so let's get to the review. The movie starts with the man, the myth, the legend himself, Patrick Bateman, played by the incredible Christian Bale, having dinner with some co-workers, and guess what, ladies? He's politically correct.
Lucky bastard.
Lucky Jew bastard.
Jesus, McDermott, what does that have to do with anything?
He's perfect, right? Right? I love how Bale portrays Patrick Bateman, trying to act so cool, trying to look cool, and trying to just say words that will like generally appease to everyone. But in the end, he just comes off as a doofus and a dumbass sometimes that even other people in the film make fun of him for. He's pretty much a loser. Patrick Bateman is a young and rich investor in Wall Street? I think he's in Wall Street or like somewhere in New York. At least in the book he was in Wall Street, so I assume it's the same. Who loves going to restaurants and clubs. So he's normal, right?
You're a fucking ugly bitch. I want to stab you to death, then play around with your blood.
Oh. He's crazy. I guess you could say he's a American Psycho.
You suck!
Bateman is so obsessed with his image that he has an extensive, and I mean extensive, self-care routine and an exercise routine as well, purely so people think he's high standard, and he doesn't really care about his own health. He just wants people to see himself as like high standard. But leave it to the frat boys on TikTok to take this as a serious routine. At least it gives us this iconic eerie shot. God, this was so good. And if I remember correctly, this shot was done in one take. I think Patrick, I can't tell them apart. I think Christian Bale did this in one take, if I'm correct about that. Once again, Bateman tries to appeal to everyone with just general statements, but in the end, even his peers can't take him seriously.
We have to promote general social concern. Unless materialism can help people.
Patrick. How thoughtful.
What's even crueler and probably even more sadder is that Patrick is so delusional at this point that he doesn't even notice the sarcasm at some time. He just thinks everyone actually respects him. But Patrick is that kind of lovable guy like Norman Bates, where he's so unhinged and just so crazy that you should love to watch him. Even if he's abusing minorities, homeless people, or women, he's just a silly little goose, you know? He's just being a guy. Oh my god, here we go. The moment I've been waiting for. We're finally here. The Paul Allen card scene. I love this scene so much, so let me break this down for you. So Bateman and his associates are comparing each other's business cards. I see this scene as a way of these powerful men to show off in a masculine way. Instead of like high cars or women, they use their business card to display their power or their ego per se. But what happens to Bateman when his ego is checked out but after seeing Paul Allen's card?
Oh my god. It even has a watermark. Something wrong, Patrick?
Patrick is sweating and trembling, feeling powerless due to Paul Allen's card just being much better than his. And it is hilarious. This is why I love this film. Stuff like this throughout the film, where on the surface it's either silly or outrageous, but looking deep into it, there's actually some content and surface stuff there. There's actually death there. Also, did you know Christian Bale for this scene, he sweated on command? I don't know how the fuck he did that. Apparently everyone said it, so I'm assuming it's true. But if he did, how the fuck did he sweat on command? How do you even do that? Now, after a long day of work, it seems like they do nothing. We finally get to see Bateman's true side when he's confronted by a homeless person and his dog.
Get a goddamn job, Al. You got a negative attitude. That's what's stopping you.
His berating and cruelty and ego escalate when Patrick decides to deal with him and the poor dog, just because he can, just because he has the power and the ego to. At a Christmas party, Bateman goes to Paul Allen, played by Jared Leto. Oh god, Jared Leto, that's... We didn't talk about him. Who hilariously mistakes Patrick Bateman's name for Marcus.
Marcus, Merry Christmas, how you been?
But Bateman just let it slide because he only cares about what other people think, so he'll even throw his name aside just to appease people. He goes to a restaurant that's not Dorsia. Oh, the humanity! Who's gonna go to Dorsia now? However, Patrick learns that Paul could have got them access to Dorsia, which ticks him off so much that he decides to, like, you know, we'll get to it. He managed to get Paul Allen drunk in his apartment, give him a whole lecture about Huey Lewis the News.
Their early work was a little too new wave for my taste. But when sports came out in '83, I think they really came into their own.
Which I never heard of this band or group before until watching this movie. As he's going along with this whole lecture, Patrick is prepping himself to do whatever other businessmen do whenever they have competition. Kill each other.
Hey, Paul!
To cover his tracks, Bateman dumps his body in the back of the car and stumbles upon some of the most stupidest civilians I've ever seen.
Where did you get that overnight bag?
I'm pretty sure this moment right here is a critique on America's class system and how they choose to focus on what they want to focus on and like what is deemed important. So they'll look at the nice, beautiful like suits and the high class like expenses instead of clearly the people dying around them. Patrick goes then to Alan's apartment and proceeds to claim that Alan has gone on a Europe trip. I think to London, I'm pretty sure it says. I wonder what Patrick is listening to on his headphones there. Patrick gets a visit from a detective and oh my god, is that Green Goblin? No way! Is American Psycho and Spider-Man in the same universe? Dude, wouldn't that be crazy?
Thanks.
This is Detective Donald Kimball. He's investigating Paul Allen's sudden disappearance. And yes, this is where the Sigma male meme comes from. Relax. I pointed it out, you relax. Speaking of relaxing, Patrick decides working out isn't good enough, so he doesn't even grab not one, but 2 prostitutes to his apartment. My man's a horn dog. And what's weird is during this whole sex scene, instead of focusing on the beautiful girls he has clearly in front of them, he just focuses on himself and his muscles in the mirror. Clearly fixated on his own image. You should get by now he's a bit of a narcissist and all he cares about himself and his image. Hell, he even cares about himself so much, he wouldn't even let them touch the watch.
Don't touch the watch.
He decides to let his craziness out just a little bit and decides to torture him a little bit for his own pleasure. Of course the girls aren't pleased with this and get the fuck out of there as soon as that happens. Moving on to the next day, Bateman and his associates have another card check and grows jealous and insecure once again. Once again, he tries to kill another associate of him, but then something unusual happens.
God, Patrick, why here? I've seen you looking at me.
Turns out, Patrick Bateman has one weakness. The gays. As he leaves in confusion. God, this movie is so entertaining and funny. I just love it so much. Bateman has a second interview with Harry Osborn himself as he grows more suspicious of him. Hell, he even used Huey Lewis' CD disc as a bait.
Great stuff. I just bought it on my way here. You heard it?
Never.
You devilish fiend, how low could you stoop, Harry Osborn? God, look how outlandishly hard he tries to look. Patrick Bateman tries so hard to the point it becomes laughable and stupid. And only because he's rich that other people around him just don't make fun of him from time to time. Anyway, he invites the only normal person I would say this whole film, which is the secretary to his place. And I think you guys know what he's trying to do to her. He even tries to seduce her with some ice cream. My dude's a charmer using Ben & Jerry. You monster. He tries multiple times to kill her, but just couldn't do it after receiving a message from the fiance. Oh yeah, I forgot. He has a fiance, but he disregards her so much that even we forget about her sometimes. And she's played by Reese Witherspoon, so we should remember that, but whoops. Once again, Patrick goes for the same prostitutes again, and for some goddamn reason, they agree. Sure, it's a lot of money they got offered, but knowing what he's capable of, I would have said fuck off. I would have just, nope. Hell no. So gee, I wonder what's gonna happen next. Yeah, we're in full-blown batches slasher now, and I love it. For the reason of the film, Patrick is just straight up unhinged now. Even landing the craziest drop kill I've ever seen. Flawless timing. Continuing down this psychotic breakdown, Patrick ends up breaking up with his fiancée in the most flattering way possible, I would say.
If you really want to do something for me, then stop making this scene right now.
Oh, God.
Following up with probably my favorite line of the film.
I have to return some videotapes.
For no reason. I just love this line so much. When you think he's calmed down, think again, because this movie just becomes a straight up Cronenberg film, which sort of makes sense why he was originally a part of this film. I almost called him Batman. Where Bateman, seeing crazy shit and just abiding by the crazy shit, just look what's happening. Why is the ATM telling him to shove the cat in? It gets crazier and crazier as the police start chasing him, and the suspension of reality just becomes more distorted as Bateman seemingly has a handgun that has the power of like a grenade apparently, just blows up a car. Even Bateman's sort of surprised by it. He's like, God damn, what is this, a pack-a-punch? Patrick is so completely defeated to the point where he confesses his crime, which at this point he says a lot more numbers than we've actually seen. So we don't know if he's being honest or just misremembering or going crazy. This is gonna get a bit crazy, so just bear with me. The following morning, no one, and I mean no one, seemed to acknowledge Patrick Bateman's like antics or his killings or even like his acknowledgement. This is also where we get arguably the best meme from the film.
Why isn't it possible?
It's just not.
Why not, you stupid bastard?
This shocking revelation, alongside the fact that no one acknowledges that Patrick Bateman even exists, sends him into an identity crisis. The one thing he only cared about is seemingly gone without a trace, and not knowing his crimes are really true or not, he just becomes empty. Per se. His narration declares that he's in constant pain and that he wishes to inflict the pains upon others, and that his confession meant nothing. Just everything we've done. We don't know if it was true or not, or if this is just how he felt in his head. Suddenly, you can also see the sign at the back of the door that says, "This is not an exit," maybe implying that the reality he's in is not really true, and we end up with this iconic monologue.
My punishment continues to elude me, and I gain no deeper knowledge of myself. No new knowledge can be extracted from my telling. This confession has meant nothing.
And that ends American Psycho. American Psycho explores the inherent violence of corporate greed, using Patrick Bateman's sadistic acts as a metaphor for the callousness of America's enterprise. The film's ambiguous ending signifies Bateman's moral awakening as he tries to hold himself accountable for his actions while those around him remain indifferent. I love this film so much. It has such nuance and depth behind its satirical slasher vibe, and it's a shame so many people consider either a film that is sexist or an icon for Sigma male, because realistically, it's neither. For most people, they look at American Psycho at the surface level, like Bateman himself, who's just a sexist misogynist. Hell, even Hollywood didn't get it when they made a god-awful sequel, and don't worry, I'll cover that piece of shit one day. So what do you think about American Psycho? Do you love it for its dark comedy or for its true meaning? Did you read the even more fucked up book version? Or do you want me to cover the terrible sequel? Let me know in the comments down below. If you enjoyed this review, why not check my other reviews? I've done one for Silence of the Lamb, I'll place it here, or one of my earlier ones from Come and See. I still love that review to this day. Anyway, Kino Freaks, my name is Notorious Nicholas, and I'll see you all next time. Now excuse me, as I have a dinner date at Dorsia tonight.